Hello and welcome to another English class. Today we're going to be looking at a very entirely new topic, Concord. Concord, very, very important. Abraham, please help me off the front. Okay, so we all know the platform we are using, educateafricans.com, and I'm going to quickly go to all courses so that we look at English language, which is the subject we have for today. So we're going to be looking at Concord. Concord is very, very important. And in English language, you have the subject, you have the verb. So there has to be understanding, there has to be agreement between this, and that's what Concord is. And we're going to be looking at it from different perspectives and understanding whether there is concord in a given statement or in a given sentence. And it is very, very important. I hope you know we've been able to look at vowels and consonants. We've been able to look at idioms. We've been able to look at how to tackle difficult comprehension passages. We've been able to look at a whole lot of things. And today we're going to be looking at Concord. Concord is very, very interesting. And you're going to be able to appreciate it today. Okay. So let me scroll down. Once you're on all courses, you just have to scroll down and locate English language. That is what we are doing today. So I'm going to scroll down. You see English language by Eze Chijendo. That's the English language that we're going to be looking. So I just clicked on it. So it's going to open up so that we'll look at the various aspects of this Concord that we'll have to learn today. And remember, your curriculum covers comprehension passages, lexis and structures, Concord, synonyms and antonyms, word factory, figures of speech, and other things. So those are the most important aspects of what you're supposed to be learning. And today we're going to be looking at Concord. We've also looked at a couple of other things before now. So we've tried to cover a whole lot. And like I told you, English language is the subject that we actually covered 100%, more than 100% on the platform. So once you get to English, you can scroll down, you can see a whole lot of the topics that are required of you. Parts of speech, stress and syllables, emphatic stress, synonyms and antonyms, comprehension, vowels, consonants, elements of a sentence or clause, lexis and structure. We even covered that for SSC, where we have letter writing and essay, singular and plural, rhetorical questions, word factory, phrase, clause and sentences, singular and question tags, components of some place ordering, apostrophe, plural, term verbs, consonant sound, concord, rules of concord, rule 1, rule 2, rule 3, number stress, stress on verbs, compound words, 3 syllables, and the rest of them. Okay. So there are just too many, and it's incredible what we're going to be doing today. So let's start from the beginning. Let's start from understanding what some rules of this Concord. Very important. So I'm going to click on this and I'm going to try to play this. And like I said, if you try to play and it's not playing, you have to click on enroll first and log in as a student. That means you must have created an account as a student before you can watch the videos. The videos are very rich. People are using it, and they are making a whole lot of inroads in their work. And we advise you to use them. So today we're going to be looking at Concord. Chick, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Choma, are you there?
Yes, I'm here too.
Blessing, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Clara, is it Clara or Zara? Who is on Techno Camon? Is it Clara or Zara? Who's on Techno Camon? Okay, so we're going to continue. We're going to continue. Okay, so you can see now it's opened up. So let's scroll down and get to, we have a lot of lectures on Concord, but I'm going to just start with this. I don't know whether we placed it in the right ordering, but eventually we're going to understand them. whether they are placed in the right order or you are picking them as they come. So these rules are, you're always going to see your Concord in your fill in the blanks. So they're going to make some statements and ask you a statement that should be able to complete that very statement. So in that case, you know that you're considering Concord. You need to establish agreement between the verbs and the subjects. If you have a singular subject, then you have to have a singular verb. If you have a plural subject, then you have to have a plural verb. So there has to always be agreement between the subject and the verb and other parts of the sentence. And that's what we're going to be looking at today. Like Concord is like, it has more questions, maybe up to 15. And that is why you need to understand and look at the various rules, even after this class. Please, after this class, I want us to look at the various rules of Concord. All of them are on this platform. So click them, rule 1, rule 2, rule 3. Get to know how these rules are used. Okay, so let's look at what is Concord. Concord means agreement between the subject and the verb. That's what I've been saying all this while, even before I open this. That Concord is simply the agreement between the subject and the verb, or between a verb and other elements of a class structure. So there has to be this agreement. Let's take an example. They suggest he go away, or do you say they suggest he goes away? Now I want you to take note of this simple fact. Whenever S is added to a verb, whenever S or ES is added to a verb, that verb becomes singular verb. So this is very different from what you see in your singularity and plurality, whereby when you have S, it becomes plural. But for that's for something like nouns. But for verb, whenever you add S or ES, it becomes singular. So the word goes is singular, whereas the word go is plural. So go is used for more than one person. Go is the verb used for more than one person, but goes is the verb used for only one person. So with this explanation that I've done now, which of these statements is correct? They suggest he go, or they suggest he go away, or they suggest he goes away. Chika, give me the answer to this first one. Is it he goes away or he go away? Chika, you there? Choma, help us so that Chika will take the next one.
Goes away.
Chika, we are listening.
So I don't get your question.
Listen, why Choma answers it so that you get it now. I'll ask you the next one. Choma, go on.
They suggest he goes away.
Goes away, thank you. So Chika, I hope you're listening and you're not playing there. So I said, whenever you have ES at the back or S at the back of a verb, that verb should be used for a singular noun or singular subject. But when you have it without ES, it will be used for a plural object or plural subject. Here, the subject here is singular. He is just one person. So yeah, it has to go with a singular verb, which should have ES or S at the back. So you cannot say he go. It has to be he goes. So based on this explanation, which one should be the correct answer for number B? Many a girl likes or like him. Okay, I think this one is not as close to what just leave this be. Many a girl is a special Concord. So when I get to that, you answer that one. But see this one, this third one, the boy with his parents go or goes to farm.
Goes to farm. Goes to farm.
Okay, so you see the next one. Yes, no problem. The club meets every day. What should be the answer? Blessing, can you help us? Blessing, can you help us?
Go to farm. Sir, can you hear me?
Say the club meets every day. The club meets every day. The teacher, the principal, our parents, or Mr. Olu is or are to blame. Okay, so let's look at the rules now. As we are seeing the rules, with the help of the rules, we'll be able to tackle all these different examples that we are giving. So I'll quickly go to the rules. So let's look at the first rule. So as I'm going through the rule, I will come back to this, to what we've looked at now. Then we should be able to answer all of them. So let's look at the rules. The rules will help us to answer this better. So let's look at rule number 1. Rule number 1. That you can use for revision when we stop at that you can. Okay. So the first rule is the subject verb concord. And that's the one I've explained already. And that's the first question on the other slide that we were on. So this first rule is called the subject verb concord. Subject verb concord. That means whenever there is a singular subject, there has to be a singular verb. And like I told you, how you identify singular verbs are verbs that have es or s. It's unlike normal noun that you have the singular does not have es or s. Whereas the plural, they can have s and es. The reverse is the case for verbs. So the rule says that when subject is singular, the verb should also be singular too. E.g., he goes. You cannot say he go. That goes has to be with he. But when you say they, it will not be they go. They, plenty people, go. They go. He goes. So once it's a single person, it has to have s or es. He goes. They go. So you can say he goes, not he go. You can say the boys go. The boys, they are not plenty, so they go. You cannot say the boys goes. The boys go. Okay? So the first rule, is it understandable? Chika, did you understand the first rule?
Yes, I do.
Choma, the first rule, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Blessing, okay, Sola, is the first rule clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's look at the second rule. So all these rules, you're supposed to look at them. You're supposed to study them. So the assignment for today is two. Number 1 is for you to do the 2010 English language and submit the way you normally do. Then number 2 is for you to list out all the rules of Concord for me with examples. Don't write them plenty. Once you write what it means, you write the example. So you can get these rules on this our platform. You'll see the one, the Concord rule 1. This one has up to 4 rules. The next slide has up to maybe 5 rules. So list out all those rules and snap and send to me. Concord is always going to come out for you, and they're going to come out in numbers. The numbers are much, up to 15. In your fill in the blanks, you're going to be seeing them. And concord is simply the agreement between the subject and the word verb, or between the verb and other parts of the sentence or the clause. So you need to know this concord. It will help you to speak good grammar so that you don't go and be having grammatical blunder whenever you're making a statement. So there has to be concord, there has to be agreement between your verb and your subject. So if the subject is singular, the verb has to be singular. And if the subject is plural, the verb has to be plural. And that's what we call concord. So let's look at the second rule of concord. And that rule is called the subject-object concord. You remember we've looked at the subject-verb concord. So now let's look at the subject-object concord, an interesting concord. So it says, when everybody, everyone, so whenever you say every, before you say body or everyone, is used, the object will be his or her. So the object will be singular. That is his or her, not theirs. You can't use theirs. So you can say everybody knows his or her name. His, everybody. You know it's everybody. But you cannot say everybody knows their names. No, no. You say everybody knows, and you use knows. Knows is singular. So whenever you use everybody, it's supposed to be plain to you, but if you say every, once you put a verb and singular object, so you say everybody knows their names. But if you say all, no, not knows again, all know their, that's when you use their. If you say all, but if you say everybody, everyone, it has to be knows his or her name. So it goes with everyone or everybody goes with singular object, Interesting. Chika, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's look at the next rule. The next rule is called the mandative subjunction concord. So when recommendation, resolution, demand, wish, suggestion, or prayer is involved in a sentence, the verb of the clause should be plural. It must be plural. Whenever you're making recommendation, suggestion, demand, wish, resolution, prayer, the verb must be plural. So let's take an example. And use for revision when we stop teaching. So welcome. So let's take an example now. We have it has been demanded that he go away. It has been demanded that he go away. You cannot say it has been demanded that he goes away. But you know that by singular, by subject and verbs singular concord, it would have been he goes away. But once you say it has been demanded that, or you require or you wish he go away, it has to be go away. It has to be plural. The verb becomes plural, must be plural. Once you make something like recommendation, resolution, demand, wish, suggestion, prayer, we demand that you go away. We demand that he go away. Check, is this one clear? Choma, is it clear? I can't hear you guys. Okay, so let's move forward. So the next one is a pair of concord. The next one is called a pair of concord. When a pair of trousers or shoe or anything is used, a singular verb is used, such as is, was, has. So it attracts a, so you can say a pair of chairs lies in the kitchen. You know that lies is singular. So you cannot say a pair of chairs lie in the kitchen. It has to be lies. Because whenever you use a pair, the verb must be singular. The verb must be singular. So we've quoted like 4 rules now, 4 rules of concord. And like I said, the rules of concord are more than 20. And you're supposed to list out all the rules for me and submit to me. So Chika, do you understand the 4 rules that we've given so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you people can screenshot this thing. If you want, you can screenshot. I don't know whether you can see my screen very well. You can screenshot this to take note of these rules that we have. These are 4 rules out of the 20-something. So, you know, we've gone far. So study these 4 rules and know how this agreement is done. Okay, let me go to the next rules. So with this, those questions that we had on the first slide of what concord is, you should be able to be answering them by now. So let's look at the group of other rules. So this does not mean that this is rule number 2, because rule number 2 is already captured on our first video. But this simply means that this is another group of rules. That's what I mean by rules of Concord 2 here. So take note. So that you don't assume that it's just the rule number 2. Rule number 2 is the second. Okay, this is the many-air Concord, many-air Concord. And you can see that this is among the first slide that I showed when I was still explaining what a Concord is. So we had an example under many-air. So when many-air is used, it should be followed by a singular noun. Note, anytime many-air is used, it should always be followed by a singular noun and a singular verb. So you say many a boys is here, many a boys is here, many a boys is here. So you can see many a boys is here. So there's word many. So you're expecting them to use many a boys are here. It's not are. Once it's many are, it has to be many a boys is here. Many a student speaks bad English. Many a student speaks bad English. So many attracts a what? Singular verb. So take note. By singular noun and a singular word verb. Many a boy is here. Is that clear? Is that clear? It's very clear. Now you say many students speak bad English. Is that correct? Is that correct? It's very correct. Because students is singular, is it not? Speaks. I told you that the verb with S is always a singular verb, is it not? So many students but exactly. Concord comes out plenty in Concord. They normally come out plenty in JAMB. Exactly. I believe you that very stuff. So Chika, did you understand the mania? Chika, did you understand the mania rule?
Yes, sir. That's it.
Okay, so let's move down to the next rule of Concord. Rule number 3. Other rules under rule number 3. Let's look at them. So, okay, so we have the collective noun Concord and the rest. So for collective noun, I'll call it the national Concord. A collective noun is a word which stands for many units that constitute it. That constitute single words. Take for instance, when you say congregation, congregation stands for worshippers. Plenty people in the church, they call them congregation. Now, audience stands for people that are listening to a program. So many people are called audience. Then class stands for students. Plenty students form a class. Clergy, plenty religious officers form a clergy. So these are all called collective noun. So they are Concord, that's what we want to see. The verb choice varies. So the verb choice for collective noun varies. You say my club is meeting, or do you say my club met, or my club meets, or my club meets twice in a month? So what do you say my club meets? You see that this is one of the questions that I gave in the first slide when I was trying to introduce Concord. So if that collective noun is performing an action, it's always good you use the plural form of the verb. But if it's not about them doing something actively, then you can use the singular form of the verb. Okay, so let's listen to it. We're going to continue with the rules of Concord, and now we're going to look at what's collective Concord, collective noun Concord. What are collective nouns? What are collective nouns? Collective noun is a word which stands for many units that constitute that single word. That clear? It's the word which stands for many units that constitute a single word. Class. What are the units that constitute a class? The student in the class. Is they not? Is they not? A congregation. When you go to Winners Camp, those people that sit, they're not at the what? They're not there. Go to Catholic Church. When the Reverend Father is preaching, the people sitting and listening at the what? Congregation. So what are the component units that make up the congregation? This one, the worshippers. You understand? Me and you that go to church. You understand? Or me and you that go to the mosque. Is it not? Now, when you have audience, who are the audience? People that are listening or watching the program. Is it not? Clergy. What are the things that make up the clergy? The religious leaders, the imam, the pastor. You understand? Collective. That's one single name that you use for all of them together. You know, that is all collective. And it's trying to tell us the rule here is that when the collective noun is performing an action, the verb used has to be a plural verb. Is that clear? When the collective noun is doing what? Performing an action, the verb used is a plural verb. But when the collective noun is not performing an action, use a singular verb. Is that clear? Choma, did you hear the explanation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when the collective noun is actively performing an action, you use a what? Plural verb. But when it is not, you use a singular verb. Okay, let's take an example. My club dash. Will you say my club dash twice in a month? My club dash twice in a month. Will you say my club is meeting twice in a month? My club met twice in a month. My club meets twice in a month. My club meets twice in a month. What will be the answer? Meet. Is it C or D? D. Why is it D? Because performing action is plural. My club meets. Meets is plural. Because club, you're talking about the members of the club. There are plenty of people. They are performing the action of meeting. Is it not? So my club meets. So write this, please. Write this note. Write it on this place. Write it by the side. Right. When the write it somewhere. When the collective now. So you can see the second one says our club is 10 years old. So in this case, is that we use. We don't use are because 10 years old is not performing any action there. So we say our club is 10 years old. Not our club are 10 years old. Our club are 10 years old is wrong. But when it's about action, then you have to use the plural form of the listing. So the next one will be more than. When the collective now is performing an action. More than Concord. So when more than is used, the word. When more than is used, the word or number that comes after more than, we determine the next verb. So if the next word coming after the more than is plural, then the verb will be plural. But if the next word is singular, the verb becomes singular. More than one orange is here. So if you say more than one orange is here. But if you say more than two oranges, then you now use are here. More than one orange is here. More than two oranges are here. So take note of that. Okay, so let's look at another rules. Okay, so I will now urge you to check out the other rules. We've looked at close to 6 rules now. So if you go down, so please let me show you where you see the other rules. This is this number stress is not supposed to be, it's supposed to be down, and this one, even this one and this one. So let me show you the other rules in case as you're doing the assignment. So these are the other rules. Accompaniment and relative concord is one rule. So take note. Chika, are you taking note of the rules?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so this is one rule, accompaniment and relative concord. We have parentheses and indefinite pronoun concord. You have uncountable nouns and coordinate concord. You have each one most concord. You have every plural member concord. Okay, so those are the concords. Those are the rules. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So open up these videos and write out the rules. That's the assignment, including the ones we've looked at. So let me get all the rules of Concord. All the rules. That's your assignment. Submit it to me. Then do 2010 of this year, 2010 of English. That's the next assignment. I've already announced that they did not postpone or shift the date for your JAMB. So this date of your JAMB, the 19th of this month, is still sacrosanct. So you have to study very hard, get prepared for your exams. Like, we've covered virtually everything that you need in your English language. I don't know what we're going to do the next class. Possibly we'll look at synonyms and antonyms, or we'll look at word factory. But we've looked at various things that you need. Please also study this question tag. Maybe we'll stay, once we are meeting and we'll have English, we'll be able to explore. Okay, please. Other rules of Concord include place ordering, apostrophe, and plural compounds. I think these are also part of it. So check them out. Check them out. They are part of those rules, so that you know that you are done with Concord. And in subsequent classes, we are going to look at other aspects of English language that we've not covered, but we've tried a whole lot to do a lot of beautiful things. And I'm hoping that you're doing the past questions, because that's what is going to determine your performance. So I'm going to try to best in 2010 of English if I can see them. If I cannot, you already know how to search for them in on our YouTube channel. So quickly get them and run them through, check them out, do all the possible things that you can, and submit to my WhatsApp, to the WhatsApp group where you've been added. Thank you. See you when I see you. God bless you.